delegates who are interested to join the aerial grasping, which is very much needful and interested nowadays pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Now farmers are in need of such a devices which can be applicable by the farmers to distance remote control system. So distance remote control system will serve the purpose of social distance as well as the work is to be done with it with a time as an important factor in agriculture. Today we are having a e-training program, and this e-training program is on aerial grasping applications for the agriculture, and this application is to be done by advanced digital technologies. So advanced digital technologies such as agriculture robots, agriculture drones, agriculture AGVs. We know that the National Agriculture Higher Education Program, which is established in Vasantrao Naik Marathwada Krishi Vidyapeeth as a sub project, and this sub project is related to the digital productivity enhancement, the digital farming for productivity enhancement by using robots, drones, and AGVs. You know, the departments, as the different interdisciplinary approach has to be increased, and the use of such a device is very much needful in agriculture sector nowadays. So we are establishing the center, NAGP center activities for postgraduate and doctoral students, also for the faculty of VNMKV. And in this center, we are launching the different types of agricultural drones, robots, and AGV applications. Friends, we have 4 portfolios and 3 divisions. First division is AgriBot, second is AgriDrone, and third is Agri-AGV. Pertaining to this 3 device applicating and their productivity solutions which we require to derive, we are using the 4 interdisciplinary clubs, and these clubs are called portfolios. So we have 4 portfolios in this center. First is a Climate-Based Decision Knowledge Support Center, CDKS. Second is a Smart Portable Machinery, SPM. Third is a Seedling Processing Nursery Automation Center. Fourth is Food Processing Automation Center. So looking at this, we have an application from different background, and this different background, the students should take interest in joining such a type of activities and their applications for their research problem. So today we are having with us Mr. Rajashekar VS, who is a mechanical engineer and currently working in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He is a research assistant of the project, and he received 1 US patent, and he published 25 research papers. He has worked with various renowned research projects and also worked in Tata Consultancy Services. Also, he worked in Triple IT Hyderabad. We are happy to share his experience and the practical way how to go for the use of the drones in agriculture. So friends, I'm without making delay, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir has given us a boosting background support, and with that we started the webinar series. He sent his message as a best grand success to these activities, and he also given a suggestion to the PG PhD students to participate in such an event. He will join with us in between, but before that I will just deliver a message of Honorable Dean Sir, who delivered us for the program to start.
Seemaji.
So can I share my screen?
Yeah. You can share.
I request Honorable Rajshekhar ji to please proceed and we will start this session. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes.
Okay. Very good morning to everyone. Today I'm going to talk about aerial grasping and overview. My name is V.S. Rajashekhar and I am a project assistant at the Department of Aerospace Engineering, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So what is aerial grasping? Aerial grasping is a pesticide in case of agriculture. This is a setup which you can see at the bottom, which was made at IIC Bangalore, where a gripper has been set up in below a drone. This setup is used to take a flying object. It used to fly and take up a brick and place it at a different place. So the need for aerial grasping. Aerial grasping can be applied in many different fields such as agriculture, construction, installation of equipments, search and rescue, inspection and maintenance. In today's session, I'll be focusing more on agriculture because you are all from agriculture background. So now we move into agriculture, but I also be focusing on construction, installation of equipment, search and rescue, inspection and maintenance also in brief. But I'll be focusing in detail about agriculture. So here is a 20-liter capacity drone which carries a 20-liter payload and has a takeoff load of 43 kg. It is flying over a field and it sprays the pesticide. This is being used by farmers. It will play a very important role in their farming activity. So instead of going and doing it manually, which requires a lot of health hazards to the farmers, this can be done using a drone. Using 20 liters of pesticide, the farmer can go and go over the field and spray for almost 3 to 4 acres. It can also be efficiently used for more area if planned properly. So this is a drone which has a pesticide drone which again is used for spraying pesticides. You can see the distance it maintains from the crops. So it can be done using manually, or this can be even done using automated purpose. If you are going to go for automated purpose, you need to use GPS and other global positioning system assistance so that you can make it autonomous. You need to map the field where you need to spray the pesticide so that you can spray the pesticide within that area. So you can see the height from which the more quantity is being sprayed. So here it is being used to cut the weed. It can also be used to cut weeds in the soil. Here a person is operating it. It is being done manually in the tea garden. So it is not a quadcopter, it's a hexacopter. It has 6 rotating propellers with it. So quadcopter is nothing but which has 4 rotating propellers with it. So if you're going to go for agriculture drones, you need to use a hexacopter. So it should have 6 rotating propellers so that it is more efficient enough to carry more payload and fly for a very long time. Using quadcopters is not advisable. So in this case, it is grasping a pesticide cylinder. Here it is going in an orchard garden mission. It is spraying pesticides on the trees. So it is now we are going to see automated fruit picker by FF Robotics. So here what we are going to see is that once the fruit is being grown, it is being picked by using robots. This is not being done by drone, it is being done by robotic arms. You can see a computer vision program which identifies the uh, apples, and then a robotic arm is being used, and it is going and plucking the apples. You can see it twisting it and plucking it like how human does. So once it is plucked, it is taken into the vehicle so that it can be processed. The person in the video explains that it can be taken to the farm, and it can be taken away from the farm, and it can be taken directly to the customer's place. So it is a robotic arm which can be fitted to the drone also. It hasn't been done, but you students can focus on this, and you can work on this so that you can use it for plucking apples in the Kashmir region of India. It can also be used to pluck mangoes, even coconuts can also be attempted to be plucked using these kind of grippers attached to the drones. Next is DJI. DJI is a company which manufactures drone. So this DJI drones, MG1P series agriculture drones, can be used effectively in complex environments. It is it does work efficiently. It can fly up to 30 minutes in the air. You can see the map in the user operator window. It follows a trajectory which has been given to it before. It can it can cover up to 6 hectares per hour. So if there is an obstacle, it avoids the obstacle, and then it goes around the obstacle, and then it goes. It can also be used in nighttime vision mission applications. So the waypoints are set, and then it follows the waypoints so that it goes within the place where the crops are there, and then sprays the pesticides. It has a control range of around 3 kilometers away from where the person controls it. It can be taken in a car, and it can be folded. Around 5 to 6 DJI drones can be used at the same time using a single pilot. The pilot is the person who operates the drone. A single person can fly 5 drones at the same time and can cover the entire area within a very short period of time. This saves a lot of time. So if the terrain is not smooth, it can able to find out the terrain and it maintains the height from the terrain. So it is IP67 grade material. So that it can be cleaned and it is dust proof. So here it is spraying the pesticide. So multiple drones can be used at the same time. So DJI Agas T16 agriculture spray drones can be easily folded and it can be taken to the field. So it is similar to the previous thing, but it doesn't have a, it has 6 rotors. And as I said earlier, this 6 rotors will help in giving a proper thrust to the flight. It covers an area of 10 hectares per hour. So there is another drone called as Wonder Drone from DJI. So these are being used by the people in Malaysia for spraying spraying pesticides. Drones are mainly used for spraying pesticides and in beetle net field and other fields. So here they are pouring the pesticide inside the thing. So the flight, the person is going and mapping the entire arena, and then it is being given to the data is given to the controller, and then it starts flying. It can go up to 60 to 70 hectares per day. So even if the terrain is, it will maintain the distance from the spraying area, height, and then it will spray. This is very important. So there are many series of drones from DJI. This is another T20 series, which is being used for a spraying purpose, especially. All the 6 rotors will be a spraying capacity below it. It flies above the, if there is an obstacle, it identifies, negotiates with the obstacle, and then it moves in the dark also. First, the person has to walk and give the boundary for the field. And when the boundary is given, then the person can move away, and then he can start flying the drone. So these drones are washable. It is IP67. IP means ingress protection. So the dust and water, 67 means 6 and 7 stands for the grade of dust and water inlet into the drone. So this is an agri-copter made by an Indian company called General Aeronautics. It is incubated at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So they are using to spray in the paddy field. So it is a made in India drone which can be used for agriculture purpose. So this is not related to aerial robotics, but it is for harvesting strawberries. So here the strawberries are being harvested, and you can see the fresh strawberries being taken from the farm using robots, and they are being collected in a box. So this can be combined with aerial robotics, that is unmanned aerial vehicles, and can be used for collecting other small fruits like grapes and other things. These kind of robots are very useful for harvesting. Sure, this is a grasp lab in USA. This is quite a long video. So they are going to find the yield, find out the morphology of the thing, and then they're going to estimate it, and then they're going to capture it. So a form of thing in the orchard field is going to go inside. You can see the apples and oranges being grown over there, and the drone is going to map the entire arena. The fruit detection is happening now. So it moves in the gaps and finds out the fruits, and the 3D reconstruction of grapevines are being happening. The data from GPS, LIDAR, and inertial sensors are being utilized to map the farm. And the thing which you're seeing in red color are the fruits. So you need to use a LIDAR for estimating the height, and the thermal camera to find out the heat, a GPS and initial measurement system to find out where the robo is, and then you need to fly, and you need to go and find out where the tree is. So it is now mapping the tree. So the map of the entire, the 3D thermal map is made. So it is a simulation image where the drone flies. So now they are going to count the number of fruits, which is very important. You can see the black screen on the right hand side where you can find the fruits being seen in white color. So if there is sunlight, then the counting the fruits becomes a challenge due to the illumination of the fruits. So they are going to use LED array and camera synchronized strobe. So the red apples are going to be tracked now. So you can see how many apples were there. There are around 1,600 apples at the bottom. Now the green apple is going to be tracked. You can find the number at the bottom. So the 3D reconstruction of the apple trees is generated simultaneously, and then with the data which is obtained from the drone. So this is one row of thing. So the next video is about a 16-liter drone capacity, which is being shown in this video. This is also made in India. So you can see the drone being flexible. It's foldable basically. So the power supply is being given to the drone. Now the handheld device is being controlled, is ready to be controlled. Now the pesticide is being poured into the drone, which is going to be poured from the air when it flies. So you can see the pesticide coming up on the bottom. So next, a robo. This is a mobile robo which is used for weed killing. So this identifies the weed and kills the weed. This helps the farmers to identify the weed and kill the weed. This is powered by solar, and hence it can operate for around 12 hours. It is easy to be deployed on the field. I'll be showing a few of my works at the end of this video. So this is the application which is being used for construction. So this is not related to agriculture, but I'll be quickly going through these. So far we have seen agriculture. So this kind of grippers can be used for construction purposes, and you can get idea from this kind of grippers so that you can apply in the field of agriculture. That is why I'm showing this. So it is scanning the area basically, and once the bricks are identified, it goes there and it will pick up the bricks and it will come and place it at the building site. There is a camera on the drone which identifies the brick. This is a mock-up brick. It identifies it and it comes and places it at the place. So for installation of equipment, for example, a drone can be used. So in houses, if you want to install bulb at a high-rise building or in the ceiling, a human has to climb up and then use. Instead, a drone can be used for putting the bulb. So this kind of application can also be used for picking fruits from the trees. You can attach a gripper on top of the drone instead of attaching a bulb, and then you can go up and catch the fruit, and then you can come down. So Amazon has made a home delivery made possible by using drones. So for inspection purposes, we are using drones. That is for inspection of oil rigs. So maintenance purposes, you can see the fruits. There's a drone with a gripper on top of it, and then with that gripper, it can be used to pluck the fruits. So some of the interesting work in the area of aerial grasping can be seen now. So it is a gripper with a cable-driven mechanism, which can be used for holding on to objects. So this is a gripper which holds objects of different sizes and shapes. So this kind of drones are expandable with grippers with expandable nature. So this kind of grippers expand out of the drone after taking off, and then it goes down and picks up the object of interest, and then it comes down. So now a drone is attached with a parallel manipulator. A parallel manipulator is nothing but a manipulator with many links parallelly attached to it. So you can see a drone which is trying to catch a yellow color ball. Next is a aerial manipulator. This is a helicopter kind of drone, which can also be used in agriculture to carry some pesticides. So it can be used in hilly areas where drones GPS cannot be accessed very easily. So helicopters can be used in those kind of areas. So now we'll be seeing a virtually operated tactile with a tactile feedback, virtually based teleoperation with tactile feedback. So if you move the arm, the robot also moves the arm. So this kind of thing can be attached to the drone, and then you can fly the drone and you can try to pick it up using your own hand. The drone will pick it up with its own hand. So that kind of thing can be done. So taking inspiration for aerial grasping is nature. So if by nature, if you see a bird catches a fish, the similar thing can be applied in catching a object which is flying in air. So this is called as bio-inspiration. If you are struggling to get an idea, you can take inspiration from nature. A compliant passive gripper for aerial perching and grasping. So here it is a bistable gripper which goes up and catches the perches into the object and it stands. So it is now we will be seeing about a soft aerial manipulator, which will be very useful for catching a differently oriented object and a object of different shape. Normal grippers will be used to capture only rigid objects. This gripper can be used for capturing objects which are flexible in nature. So you can see the gripper which is flexible in nature and it is picking it up. So you can use electro adhesion grippers also with the drone to pick up objects. Electro adhesion grippers act only when electrical forces applied to it. So now when the electrical force is applied to it, it gets attached to the object and it holds the object, and then it takes off and it flies. Then a modular gripper. A modular gripper is nothing but 4 drones are being used to pick up an object. Here you can see a cup being lifted by 4 drones, and then it is being utilized to take to another place. So passive grasping of aerial ferrous objects. So if the object is ferrous in nature, then this kind of magnetic grippers can be used. So transportation of slung load. So if there is a slung load, if the object is very heavy, and if the load is hanging in space, then you can use a slung load to take it. So if you want, now coming to the question, if you want to build your own manipulator, this is how we built our own manipulator. So first you need to get a conceptual idea, mechanism, like how you have to build your own gripper. Then you need to 3D print the gripper. Then you need to identify a microcontroller which is needed to make the gripper. And then you need to attach the microcontroller with the gripper to the drone and then make it fly. So this is the stages which is involved in making an aerial gripper or a manipulator. So first you need to make a conceptual design, then go for 3D printing, then interface it with microcontroller, then mount it on the drone with a microcontroller on the drone and give the power supply from the drone. So reference book for aerial grasping is this, Aerial Robotic Manipulation, Research, Development and Applications by Springer. So if you have any doubts, we have 5 more minutes, you can ask me. And for those who have joined us, here is a free ebook. So here is a free ebook which I like to share with you. If you're going to read this ebook, you can build your own computer controlled robots. You can download it from this by scanning this QR code, or you can download it from my website vsrajshekhar.weebly.com. This will be very useful for you. If you have any doubts, you can pose your questions from now. I'll be happy to take it.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for the nice presentation. I have some few questions.
Okay.
Like spraying. I guess spraying through drones, that variable rate spraying will be required in agriculture application. So how you are thinking that we can integrate this variable rate application through agriculture? That is my first question. The second question is, air pollution will come into picture. while spraying pesticide, herbicides, and all those chemicals which may harm water bodies, animals, or even maybe some chemicals are danger to human body. I mean, human and people who is working in the field may respire those chemicals through air. So how to deal with that? And then you showed uh, that weed killing robots. I mean, we want to know about the technology, how it is detecting. I mean, weeds are detected because in Indian fields, we will see like so many, I mean, the spacing between rows, I mean, crops are very, very low. So how to detect weed and then eradicate those weed, cut those weeds will be difficult in Indian situation. And I would like to have your advice on some of the institutes who are working in Indian scenario, so that we can go and get some more information about how to use drones in agriculture or robots in agriculture, and also explain some, I mean, some training centers in India. There we can go and we can get some more information. Those are my questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. So your first question was how to implement variable rate flow using pesticides. So the variable rate flow can be applied by controlling the nozzle size. So the nozzle can be rotated, and you can control the nozzle's dimension, and then you can control the nozzle flow rate through the nozzle. That is how they are controlling the nozzle flow rate in the flow. And now coming to the next question, how what was your next question? I forgot. Regarding the weed thing.
How to deal with the air pollution which is coming
Air
from drone?
pollution. There is a lot of study going on with this. Regarding air pollution, the thing will be sprayed only from a certain height. Now it won't be sprayed from a very high height. It will be sprayed only from a very short height. So from that height, uh, this air pollution, chances of air pollution being happening is very less. So this height is the factor from which the spraying has to happen. So that height factor has to be taken into control while spraying. So next is about the weed. The weed killing robo was made using vision based control. In the vision based control, we'll be feeding the computer with lot of pictures of weed in different dimension, the CAD model of the weed in different dimension, and we'll be teaching the computer using image processing techniques that this is the weed and this is the good crop. So this, even though the spacing between the crop is very less in the Indian scenario, this kind of robot can be used to take the uh, uh, cut the weed out of the cut the weed. And coming to the fourth thing about the agriculture part of it, which are being done in India, I think IIIT Hyderabad was working on drones for agriculture. So I would suggest you to approach Dr. Madhav Krishna in IIIT Hyderabad for this project which you are talking about.
Okay, thank you. And any training centers you could, I mean, you can mention us on all those, because we see like from through your presentation we could know that there are huge potential of using drones and robots I mean in Indian agriculture. So could you say some training centers where we could go and have some training, like 1 month training or something?
For working with drones, or
yeah, drones and robots.
yeah, regarding that I need to get back to you. I'll definitely get back to you. Because I'm not sure about the training centers in India, because people take out and they start flying their own drones.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You can get a small drone, a toy drone, and you can start flying your own drone. So if you have any questions, you can even mail me at dsrajshekar@gmail.com. Even if the session is over, I'll be happy to mail you back with your doubts clarified if you are not able to clarify it within the time which is allotted to us. Regarding government subsidies for projects, I'm not sure about the government subsidies for projects because I'm a technical person who works on these technical aspects of this, and I'm not sure. And what is the cost of making such type of drones? The cost of making such type of drones would be somewhere around 4 to 5 lakh rupees in Indian value. So a non-invasive method can be done, but if the drone is stable and if it is able to stand in a place without affecting the plant, then a non-invasive technique can be done. But you need to use a manipulator so that the downwash effect of the drone doesn't affect the plant from flying away, and the leaf should not fly away, and only then the non-invasive method can be done, used without plucking the leaves. I hope I have answered the question.
Your phone is in charging, huh? Okay.
The next. Next. Mute all.
Drones cannot be used for sowing the seeds actually, to the best of my knowledge. But in future, yes, drones could be used, but we need to see what kind of seed and how seeds are being used. That we need to see, because there are more effective ways for being done by using mobile robots for that.
Okay. Shall I go for the next question? Mr. Prashant Kardile. Mr. Prashant Kardile, are you there? Mr. Prashant Kardile.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, you can start asking. Okay.
Sir, my question is, when we are taking a trial of high temperature stress tolerance in different crops, while studying such a aspect, how to take readings of environmental temperature in field condition and crop body temperature, it is possible with the help of drone by non-invasive methods?
It is possible. You need to attach a temperature sensor on the drone to measure the temperature at that point in the environment, and then you need to attach a sensor with the gripper to which goes and touches the leaf or the part of the plant. So that will record the temperature in the plant.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
For the next question, Mr. Aniket Vaikar. Yeah, Mr. Aniket Vaikar. Unmute karo. Please make your, yeah, you make it your unmute. You make your, your voice is not clear yet. You make your mic on.
Hello. Hello, sir.
So under the ground, it is not possible, Ashutosh Patel. It is not possible to see under the ground with the help of drones.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, you can ask.
Sir, Ashutosh Patel, sir.
Yeah.
So there is a thermal technique to identify, I think, for the invisible things which are not visible by drones. It reacts with the thermal power which is reflected by the any instrument.
Okay, but the power consumed by it you have to see, because the drone
Okay.
can carry only limited power with it. So if it is going to consume more power, then it is be very difficult.
No, sir. The drone identifies means it captures the thermal reflection which is reflected by any object, and it detects it. What is the problem? Is there any technique?
Yeah, if you're going to use thermal camera or something like that, the
Yes.
power consumed by the thermal camera, which
Yeah.
is on the drone, which
Ah.
is the thermal camera will use the power from the drone. Then
Yes.
the drone's life will become less. It
Okay.
won't run for more than 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Next, Mr. Aniket Vaikar. Unmute. Anyone? Okay. So
if you have any doubts, you can mail me at
Yeah.
vsrajashekar@gmail.com.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rajashekar sir. Now, today we are the 60 delegate participants in this session, and there will be a continuous interactive communication with us, as we are also putting this entire drone applications, and these applications will be kept as a e-course, can be continued as a e-course in our elearn.nahep.vnmkv.org platform. So today I am here to put vote of thanks for this program. So the series will be continued, and series will be definitely continued with Mr. Rajashekhar's convenient time, and he will be continuously assisting our postgraduate and doctoral student of Vasantrao Naik Agriculture, Marathwada Agriculture University, for getting them to involve in the projects. And these projects will be for the different types of agricultural plant disease recognition by aerial grasping. You can use the aerial vehicles, as we are just now procuring these aerial vehicles in our NAGP center. It will be a good asset, and it will be a very big think tank from IISc Bangalore. Mr. V.S. Rajashekar sir will be continuing us to guide. So today I am here to put my words as a vote of thanks for this program. Today the discussion sessions was held, and this entire program was organized by our research associate, Mr. Ravi Kumar Kalloji. He is looking after this agri AGVs and its application. However, the part of hybrid combinations of the such kind of devices can be integratingly designed, and it is very important for us. So one more announcement by the coordinator, Mr. Ravi Kumar Kalloji. He has put forward you a feedback form. A feedback form is essentially need to complete by you all participants, those who are interested to join this in the continuous series of this program, and they will be issued e-certificate, e-training certificate. So without filling and submitting your feedback form, you will not receive e-certificate. This is very clear. And secondly, you should have some feedback and interactive the problems before the NAGP team duly filled up by the forms, and that will be continued to be as one of the small research project or case studies to be done in the center. And I'm happy today with this team, the Mr. Shailesh Shinde, who is also cooperating and coordinating this session, and also Mr. Tanzim Khan. He is also looking after these activities. No doubt, the entire team is working with this webinar sessions or e-training sessions. Mr. Aniket Vaikar and Apurva Deshmukh. Both of them are also joined with us here in this program. I'm happy. They are continuously pursuing the students' feedback, students' forms, and their activities, which are need to be continued as a part of this NHEP center activity. Today, this entire session is now before uh, before putting the vote of thanks. I'm very much happy and enlightened by the strong backing support by our patron, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Ashok Dhawan, who inspired us in various activities. But however, the technical aspects, like a robot, drones, and AGVs, and their persuasion with these PG students and faculty participation is very essential, as he remarked. And with his backing support, no doubt, our head office, National Agriculture Higher Education, NHEP Director Honorable R.C. Agrawal sir, who always support us and tell us that to continue a different kinds of such a program where the technical knowledge can be nurtured amongst the graduates and postgraduate and doctoral students in the university campus. The entire program, when we thought of and we made this program continuously interact with our chief convener, Dr. Prabhat Kumar sir, who is the national coordinator of the NHEP center, ICR Delhi. He is very much appreciating with all these activities. He will be taking note of the entire center activities to the central government for putting the PG PhD student as a chief beneficiary amongst the all over India. Our host director, Dr. Dharmaraj Gokhale sir, who is the Dean and Director of Instruction of Vasantrao Naik Marathwada Agriculture University. He programmed and he made all these activities to continue in the series, and he always directing us to keep such a kind of program for students on their palm top, where the students can reach to the entire highest possible technology research